In this video, I'm going to show you the exact ad offer structure that allowed me to scale my agency to $50,000 per month. It allowed me to make my first 6 figures in the first year of business. And by the end of this video, you're going to have the exact roadmap to structure your paid ads so that you can be on your way to your first 6 figures. So first, let's take a look at how we need to position our offer. So if you have a aggressive offer, what I mean by aggressive is you have a very low risk offer that you're presenting to your audience, right? The lower the risk that you have for your audience, the lower the cost per lead is going to be, right? When people see a very low risk offer and they want to see, what the rest of your offer is about, there's more of your target audience is going to click on this offer, right? So when you run an ad saying, you call out your audience, roofers, pay for a closed job, 100 risk, free, no BS, click below to get started. This is a very low risk offer, right? They're thinking, oh, they're going to pay you after they close a job and that it's 100% risk free. So when you have a very aggressive offer with very low risk, you're going to have a low cost per lead, right? You're going to get a lead for hopefully 25 USD or under per lead. What that is going to allow you to do is have a volume of leads so that where it becomes a numbers game, right? When you're a beginner or where you're starting out and you want to have the largest volume of leads as possible, you want to have 5 to 10 sales calls per day. This is what I would do. I would have a very aggressive offer and try to get as many conversations as you can get and then pivot from there, right? What you want to do when you're running ads is you want to test out 3 to 5 different offers, see what the volume of leads look like, but also see how the quality of leads are, right? For example, if you have an offer that's too aggressive, you're going to get sometimes such a low quality of leads to where you might be getting on calls, they might be showing up, but you can't close them, right? Because maybe your offer is too bait and switch, or maybe you aren't able to pivot with your sales skills to be able to close the deal, right? But typically, for a lot of sales teams and a lot of agencies, is we want to just have a high volume of leads and allow our sales team and our funnel to pre-qualify, nurture, and warm up our audience so their sales teams can close, right? But when you're starting out and you want to you want to talk to your ICP a little bit more, understand their problems, I would run a very aggressive offer so you can have as many conversations as you can and get better over time, right? The more you're talking to your prospect, you kind of understand what objections that they have. Then you can build out a funnel that pre-handles these objections and figure out what your copy is going to look like as you talk to them, right? So run a very aggressive offer and then dial in the offer, trying out 3 different offers, dialing in different creatives, images, and videos, right? Another way, instead of having a very aggressive offer, is you can have transparency, right? You can offer an upfront pricing. So here they say $150 per estimate, still 0% risk, pay per estimate, right? When you have upfront pricing like this, what's going to happen is your prospect, they're going to have a number in their mind, right? So this disqualifies people who can't pay for $150 per estimate, who obviously want things for free, right? So you're going to have a little bit higher quality of leads, but you're going to have to rely on the offer that you gave them, right? You can't say 150 per estimate, and then when they're getting on the call, you're saying a different number that's different than what you said, right? It's going to be difficult for your prospect to trust you. So this doesn't necessarily make the prospect easier to close. It just means that they kind of have an idea and you disqualify some people already, right? What it still relies is an upsell, right? Because you're obviously not you still want to have a degree of commitment, right? The higher the risk, the more commitment that you need from the prospect. So when you have an offer that's like, X amount of money for an estimate or call or a specific software, you're going to rely on some sort of upsell, right? Because you don't want to just sell a $150 estimate and sell it one by one. You want to hold your prospect to a degree of commitment, right? So what you're going to need to do here is, yes, it's $150 per appointment, but you have to buy packs of 10 appointments, right? Something like that. Is you still want to force your prospect to commit to a certain amount, right? Not just $150 per appointment, right? And so we disqualify people who want things for free, but you also might attract, broke clients who have a false expectations, right? So they might say, oh, well, your ad said this and this, but what you need to do is you need to help them understand, well, if you just pay per estimate, go one by one, you're not having a commitment on things. And how would you know that this is going to work, right? When you do things, when you train your sales team, when you run any type of lead, don't you kind of need to see between 10 and 20 leads to see if this is even going to work for you, right? And so hold them to a degree of commitment, right? And so if when you're running an aggressive or a firm pricing offer, you're going to have their pros and cons. Alternatively, you can offer a sort of lead magnet. You can offer this as something tangible that they can obtain, right? Ebooks and PDFs are a little bit saturated, but maybe you offer a software, something DIY that they can just purchase or download for free and allow them to consume content, right? Allow them to be nurtured and learn more about you so that you build trust through your lead magnet and that you'll have a better chance of closing them, right? Or their guard is down a little bit because they know a little bit more about you. And when they get on a call with you for like some sort of false onboarding, then you try to upsell them into something else, right? The pros to this is obviously you can nurture a client. They're a little bit warm if they do, consume the lead magnet and then speak to you. The con is depending on your audience, you need to have a very strong lead magnet, right? Something that's something whose offer is really attractive so that they would actually consume. A lot of people treat information as free, right? So I wouldn't necessarily offer like an ebook or PDF. I would offer something a little bit more tangible, like a website template or a software DIY that they can do themselves, right? Something that maybe you white label, you build on your own, right? Something that they can have that's a little bit more tangible rather than information. Because although you put together here a DIY marketing book, they know that's information. It's not a physical book, right? They're not going to treat it the same as something they can tangibly use themselves. So from here, I would even price it as, $19, $27 to allow you to liquidate ad spend. Because when people purchase something, they kind of put a foot in and they're almost halfway there, right? And so when people pay for something, even if they commit to just $1, they've made a degree of commitment that they actually want what you offer, right? From there, their guard is down. You can offer an onboarding call, allow them to consume more content, and then it's a lot warmer close, right? But also this still requires some degree of sales and it requires you to upsell them on something beyond $1, $27 or $197, right? So I'm giving you a couple examples of, good ways that I've seen people run ads and bad ways to do it, right? So I'm going to first show you a bad way of running the ads. And so there's an agency here that I see their ads run all the time called Nonstop Automation. They're very, very generic, right? They build automations for home service companies, right? And in the ad, they do call out their ICP, right? Roofing AI, home service, AI bots, but these are very broad call outs, right? They're saying, this one's very specific, roofers, right? Chasing down your leads on autopilot. There's no clear offer. You don't speak to a target demographic. They literally talk to roofers, plumbing, HVAC, garage doors, and electrical. So I think it's too many things, right? The more specific a problem that you're solving for someone, the more interest that they're going to have, right? And from here, home service AI bot, it's very generic, right? So what happens here is they have a very broad audience and their offer isn't very clear. There's no clear offer. There's no numerical offer, like how many leads am I going to get, right? And how much time am I going to get? What pain are you reducing, right? Chase your leads down on autopilot doesn't mean anything to me, right? I don't know what time do I save? What money do I gain, right? When your prospect looks at an ad, they're thinking within 5 seconds, what do I get from this, right? Do I even want to learn more about this, right? And if your ad doesn't have a very strong and clear offer with no, how many leads they're getting or what expectation or what pain that you reduce or what they can gain, there's no way they're going to click on your ad and you're going to get absolutely no leads, right? So without even looking at their ads manager, I already know that they have an extremely high cost per lead and that they require a really good funnel. So what they probably do here and I didn't go through and click through it, but they take these ads and they either you fill out a lead form or they take them to a website, and they're going to collect more information from you, ask you a couple questions, pre-qualify you, and maybe have some more content for you to consume, right? But if your offer isn't good on the front end, who's going to go through a funnel and go through all these questions, right? The goal of the funnel is to pre-qualify and pre-handle objections. But if you don't have a clear offer, they're not even going to reach your funnel to begin with, right? And if you want to avoid mistakes like this and learn from us one by one, you can join our program, AI Sales Academy, where we'll hold your hand through the process, set up your offer, and allow you to sell $10,000 worth of AI automations minimum in the next 90 days. But back to an actual good example of ads, right? So here we have an AI SEO offer where I guess this company is they're indexing with a business on ChatGPT and different AI search algorithms, and so the offers are, I would say they're pretty good, and they speak to a specific ICP in some of their ads, and they have a lot of creatives that they're testing, right? Every notification here's a new customer, new lead from ChatGPT, join 1,200 businesses, start with $20. To be honest, this ad isn't great. It doesn't speak to a specific audience, but it does have some transparency in pricing, right? Start for $20, right? So you can get someone to click because, oh, well, I'm going to get leads for $20, right? The con is you might get people that are broke and they're expecting something for $20 or less. But if you have a good upsell, you have a good funnel, then you can upsell them to something else, right? We make your business visible to AI assistants recommended by ChatGPT, fix the problem in 20 hours, $20 a month, no technical skills needed. There is a decent offer here, but it's not very clear, right? This is a little bit better, right? The 0 to 47 leads, 30-day guarantee, start with a $20 plan, and they're talking to a plumbing company, right? I would say maybe add something where it's like attention plumbers or attention blah blah blah. Call out the offer immediately. So a little bit, if you're like an older guy, there's no way you're gonna like this ad has kind of too many things going on, right? But I call this a good example for the ads. Is these ads are a little bit more clear of an offer than what's here, right? If you look at these ads, they're all generated by AI likely, whereas the ads that I show you here, there's not even any photos. But what it does is it tells them, it reduces a pain point or offers a numeric thing that your prospect can obtain, right? How many leads are they going to get? How much is it? And how much risk is there? And how's the offer structured, right? And they call it the ICP. So this is a decent ad, but this is light years better than whatever they ran here at the automation company, because one, they have a transparent pricing, right? Start at $20. They have some expectation. And in actuality, I don't think they definitely don't rely on the $20 to scale their business. What this $20 offer does, it allows them to liquidate their ad spend, right? Say they get a lead for maybe $20 or something like that to opt in for one of these ads. That lead buys it, then they didn't pay for that lead. And what they have is an upsell opportunity, right? They look at your website, they get on a call with you, like, okay, so this is how we would implement this blah blah blah, and how many leads do you need? Oh, okay, you want 100. Okay, so in actuality, if you want 100 leads, this is how much this is going to cost and what it takes for you to get there, right? The 30-day guarantee mitigates kind of the risk, all right, lowers the risk so they get more leads. But overall, remember, we want to call out our ICP. We want to have a very clear offer with what they can gain or what pain point is reduced, and think of, hey, do I want to offer transparent pricing, or do I want a very low risk offer to get people in the door? As you learn through the conversations that you have with your ICP, then you can understand the objections that you can pre-handle through a funnel that you build, asking the right questions, presenting the right copy to them so that they have a better show up rate when you get on a call with them and they're easier to close. So thank you for watching. We have a couple more videos on how you can create these ads. And so watch the next videos, look at our recommended feed, and follow us for more content.